Hola, hola, my name is Jackie, and today I'm here to talk to you about my favorite books of 2014. I read a total of 40 books this year. I did not complete my goal of reading 55 books whatsoever, but still, I figured I wanted to talk about my favorite books and what I liked about them. The first book I want to talk about is The Fifth Wave by Mr. Rick Yancey. I think this book was released in 2013 actually, but I just had the chance to read it in 2014 and I really like this book. Not so much the aspect of the romance in the book, but I really did like the story and how well it was developed, how well the book was written. If you don't know, it's a post-apocalyptic story in which the aliens have taken over Earth. There's been disaster, chaos, and so there's only a couple of humans left on the Earth, and the fifth wave is basically the aliens' plans to try and finish the human race and take over the planet Earth. And our main character is Cassie, and she's trying to basically stop that along with some other people, and it's just a great journey. I really like this book a lot. The next book I want to talk about is Neverfade by Alexandra Bracken. I don't even know how to explain my love for the Darkest Mind series. The characters, the world, it's so good. I can't even tell you. The Neverfade is the second book in the trilogy I read at the beginning of the year, and I was just blown away by how much happens in this book and how well it's told, and I loved it very much. My next book is actually also by Alexandra Bracken. It's third and final book. It's also the last book I read this year, and it's called In the Afterlight. This was so good. There were so many ends that were tied together really nicely, and I just really enjoyed seeing our characters. Sad to see them go, but I was also happy that I don't want to spoil it, but it was a good ending. It was a lot better than those that I have been reading recently, of like the endings of the trilogies where there's a lot of loose ends and you just don't get many answers, but this completely fills it up. It has everything tied in together really nicely, and we get a lot of answers. We get to see everyone that was in the first books, and it was just a really good book. The next book I want to talk about is In the Mountains Echoed by Khaled Hosseini. I really enjoyed this book a whole lot, like all of the other Khaled Hosseini books. It was just so beautiful, and I don't even have words to explain it. I did a full in-depth review on this book at the beginning of the year. I don't remember, but I'll link it down below. It's one of my first videos, so please excuse if I don't know what I'm saying or if I don't sound that great, but I really love this book. Everything tied in so beautifully that it was a good book. The next book I want to talk about is, I actually have it with me and have the whole collection by Miracle. It's The Tiger's Curse, by Miss Colleen Houck. Now, this is a book that I will admit, it's not like, it's not like a masterpiece. I'll say it right now. It's not a masterpiece in terms of writing and world building and characters, but I don't know what it was about it. I was just so addicted to this for the first 3 books. I just need the last one to finish the series, but I've been so sucked into this world. It's just a really good world. I love the characters in this the most. I just love their interaction so much. Anyway, let me tell you what it's about. It's about this girl, Cassie. She is in her, I think I talked about this in one of my wrap-ups, but anyway, Cassie, she is a girl just out of high school. She finds a job. This is the premise of the first book, by the way. She finds a job at a circus because she's trying to go to college, right? And she's an orphan. She doesn't have money. So she finds a summer job. And there she finds this tiger that draws her attention. But it turns out that he's no normal, ordinary tiger. He's a cursed tiger. And during this series, they're trying to break this curse. And it's so fun. It's a great read. If you want something entertaining and just something to get lost in, you know what I mean? That's the book for you. Now that the sirens have finally left, let me talk about my next book. It is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. Now, if you're wondering why I don't have many of these books, it's because I checked them out from the library, but maybe I will buy them in the future. Just give me a minute. But yeah, The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. This is my first Patrick Ness book, I think. I know, I'm crazy. This book is so great. I'm sure you've heard of this book. And I love Todd Hewitt. He's such a great character. The world is so powerfully built, and it intrigued me right away. Before going into this book, I had no idea what it was about. I just started reading it, and it was so much fun trying to figure out what was going on along with Todd, and because we follow his perspective, and it was really interesting to see what was going on through his eyes. And he's such a great boy. I want to hug him and tell him that everything will be okay, even though it probably won't be in a long time after. Definitely plan to read the rest of the series. And I love this book. Obviously, it's with my list. And yeah, the next book that I want to talk about, of course, this wouldn't be a favorite without my favorite author, Miss Julie Kagawa, and the conclusion to the Blood of Eden series, The Forever Song. This book, oh my god, I picked it up the day it came out, and I read it as fast as I possibly could, finished it, loved it. I'm not gonna say what it's about. Obviously, it's the third book in a series, but it's a vampire series in case you're curious, and in a very, very good vampire series. I definitely recommend you read it. So our main character, Allison, let me just talk a little bit about it since I'm on it already. Our main character is Allison, and she lives in a dystopian, in a world. It's like our world, but it's in the future, post-apocalyptic. And in this society, basically, the vampires have taken over the humans and they rule. And Allison hates them because they killed her mother. The ending, it was just... This book that I want to talk about is, of course, City of Heavenly Fire by Miss Cassandra Clare. It wouldn't be a favorite without her. This book was just a whole lot of fun. And it was also sad to see the characters go and them moving on from the things they've gone through in the past 5 books. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun to go with them in this journey, even though it was a hard journey. And I really enjoyed it. Everything was just a great ending. And the next book that I want to talk about, I don't have, but I want to have it. It is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Again, my second Patrick Ness book. I didn't know what I was going into this book when I started reading it, and I was blown away. It's so beautiful. It might break you, but it also might give you this new vision of the world. It's that fantastic. It's about this boy whose mother is battling cancer, and his father lives in America, so he only lives with his mother, and every day he's seeing her suffer more and more with this disease, and he doesn't know what to do about it. and one day a monster from his backyard calls to him and brings him along this journey that he has to go through in order to try and basically survive. I loved it. I cried. It was just heart tendering. Is that a word? Heart tendering? I don't care. It was heart tendering. Read it. Okay, so the next book I want to talk about, there are actually two books. It's Mouse Volumes 1 and 2. It follows the story of a World War II survivor, and I just love, I mean, that sounds wrong, but I like to see these inspiring stories about World War II survival, and it was really good. It was really well told. The graphics were really cool as well. I really liked the art, and I liked it very much. It's in my favorites because it's one of the few graphic novels that I read this year, and I enjoyed it very much. The next book I want to talk about, graphic novels that I want to talk about is Saga Volumes 1 and 2. I haven't read Volume 3 yet, but they were really fantastic. High fantasy series if you're interested, mature content, but they are really, really good. The world is just so fantastic. I don't even know how the authors came up, Brian K. Vaughn came up with this, but it's just so high fantasy. It's just amazing to see, and the art is really awesome and graphic as well. And finally, the last book that I want to talk about, I have a full in-depth review on this book, by the way. If you want to catch it, I'll link it down below. This Song Will Save Your Life by Leila. This book is just filled with so much great music. Our main character is a girl who doesn't have many friends in high school, and she tried committing suicide, failed, and now she's even more miserable. One day she stumbles upon this underground secret dance club, indie club, and she starts to make friends and starts to discover herself. And in this whole book there's a lot of awesome music references, and it's just about finding yourself and being a better person in general, and it's just a great fun read. So with that, I will say goodbye. Just so you know, they're not in any particular order. I just couldn't do that. I don't know, I like a lot of things equally, so yeah, but just yeah. Let me know what you read this year, what you enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Hasta luego, amigos.